Conventional wisdom is to only invest money that you already have, right? To only lend money out that you already have, or invest in stocks or whatever with money that you already have. But that's not what banks do. Banks lend your money out to other people and they earn a spread on it. So I wanted to chat today with Brent Bowers. He is an Army officer who escaped the military by becoming a land investor. He is the founder of the Land Sharks and he hosts the Wholesaling Inc. podcast. And Brent and I were chatting before we hit the record button about how one of his strategies for making money is debt arbitrage. And I just thought this would be a fun topic to explain to anyone who's not familiar with this concept. So, Brent, give us a quick rundown on how debt arbitrage works, how you use it in your own business, how you mitigate risk, and why we should all think more like banks.
Yeah, I'll keep it super simple. Brian, thanks for having me, man, and incredible what you're doing over here. So I'll give you an example of debt arbitrage. So I found the land deal. The land was worth $90,000. We actually were under contract to buy it. We had to work through a couple probate issues. We found a buyer for 90,000, and he could put 5,000 down, and he needed us to finance it for like 14 years, and we're going to finance him at 12% interest. Well, my buy price was 40,000. So I reached out to my mother-in-law and said, "Hey, I know you wanted to put some money to work. Can I pay you 9% interest? And I need to borrow that 40,000 for 5 years." So I took my mother-in-law's money to buy the land. I have $0 of my own money into the land. And then the day of closing, we got a down payment from our buyer for 5,000. Now we collect $946 a month from this buyer. Well, my mother-in-law's payment is $800 a month to fully amortize her, aka pay her off in 5 years. So I kept the 5 grand up front, put that in my pocket, and I keep the 146 a month for the next 60 months, 5 years, and we're like 2 years into that deal. This deal where I'm talking about here in Colorado. And once that is paid off, I'm going to have like 7.5 years left, a little bit more than that, of this buyer paying me 946 a month. Now, if you do that math, we're talking over $100,000 net profit in my pocket with none of my own money, just being the bank. And that's what the banks do. They borrow from the Federal Reserve for like nothing and loan it out to us poor jokers for 30 years at 12% interest. You really get into the interest when you go 30 years. That's even better.
Man, there is so much that you packed in there. I love it. I absolutely love it. So not only did you not put any of your own cash into this deal, but you actually put 5 grand in your pocket from the buyer's down payment. You borrowed 100% of the capital to buy this property from your mother-in-law. You turn around and you seller finance this deal to the buyer, and you're earning a spread every month on the monthly payment. And on top of all of that, the money that you borrowed from your mother-in-law is on a much shorter loan term. So you're paying that off very, very quickly, and you're still earning cash flow every month on that differential, that margin. And then you're going to have pure cash flow for the remainder of the buyer's loan period after you've paid off your mother-in-law. So that's awesome. That is a brilliant business model. The one component of this that we didn't talk about is risk and how you are, in exchange for your trouble here, or in exchange for getting all this cash flow, you are taking on the risk of buyer default. So you still owe your mother-in-law the money every month, the monthly payments. However, your buyer could default on you. So walk us through that real quick. How are you managing risk on that side?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, it's a weird Thanksgiving dinner when I don't pay my mother-in-law. Um,
Indeed.
so yeah, I'm still liable for that. But here's the really cool thing. Let's just say that I got hit by a bus or something and I never paid my mother-in-law back. She's got, by this time she's almost gotten like 20 something thousand dollars in payments over 2.5 years, plus the interest. And she's gotten some of her money back, and she has an asset that's worth $90,000. What a buyer is ready, willing, and able to pay for it for like $20,000. So she's now got like she can foreclose on this thing and take it if I don't pay. Now that's going to take her probably 6 months and like $4,000, but she now has an asset for like 25 grand with 6 months of her time in it. That's worth 90. So, I don't see much risk. And, if I was able to sell it one time, I could sell it again. And this was a couple of years ago. The market actually appreciated a little bit in this area as well. The buyers improved it. He's put a fence. Sometimes they put like culverts and driveways and water systems. And It's nuts. So yes, I know this buyer's improved it, and that's what usually happens. The risky side, like we've had people go out and cut trees down and things like that and dig ponds. But there again, like that land still sold to someone else for no problem. There's been some land that I was a little nervous about. The guy dug ponds all over it, but he put $29,000 down. So I was like, okay, he's not going to back out. But then he died.
Ah.
So his siblings took over, and boy, I sold it to him for 159. The sibling sold it for like 237. So I don't see a ton of risk, especially when I'm buying this land at massive discounts like I am.
Yeah. So a couple of points there that I just want to highlight because this is part of why I love land investing as a real estate investing strategy and just as a niche business in general, is that you have no risk of tenant or buyer damage to a building, right? Which you normally have as a residential or even commercial real estate investor, because there is no building on the property. So there's nothing really for the tenant to damage. Now, like you said, they could chop down the trees or they could dig ponds and stuff, but even that is pretty minimal risk of reducing the value of the property. And the greatest protection is you're buying this at such a discount from what you're selling it for. In like for this particular example, you bought the property for 40,000, it's worth 90,000, and has appreciated over the few years since you did this transaction. So you just have plenty of margin there to worst case scenario. If you have to foreclose because the buyer defaults on their monthly payments, you'll still you've got plenty of equity there to foreclose and recover your money. So there's a ton to love there. I love the creative approach to making money. Brent, in 30 seconds or less, how do you help people and how can people connect with you if they want to take you up on that help?
Yeah, I teach people how to quit their jobs. I've had CEOs of hospitals and other Army officers, other military guys get out of the military because I show people how you can build a massive passive income with vacant raw land.
That is awesome. And how can people connect with you if they want to learn from you or if they want to invest with you? How can they reach you?
Yeah, thanks for asking. Go to thelandsharks.com, thelandsharks.com.
Love it. Well, guys, if you enjoy these quick, focused conversations that we have, please pass them on to your friends or family members who might also get a kick out of them, learn something new from them. Please rate and review the show if you enjoy these. And with that note, we will catch you next time. Want the cash flow appreciation and tax benefits of real estate without becoming a landlord? You've heard of REITs and real estate crowdfunding, but you probably don't know much about 5 other ways to invest passively in real estate. So we put together a free video course for you to show you how to consistently earn 15% plus returns from 5 lesser known hands-off ways to invest in real estate. And even more importantly, we'll keep risk front and center in that whole discussion. Because really, what's the point of investing for high returns if you also take on high risk, right? So visit sparkrental.com/free to take our free course. Each video is snackable at 10 to 15 minutes long, and the entire course takes less time than watching a movie. Looking forward to chatting with you from within the course.